The Library Card, written by Jerry Spinelli. Chapter 1. Fingers trembling, eyes on the man at the cash register. Mungo snatched the Milky Way bar and stuck it in his coat pocket. He waited for lightning to strike, for the hand of God to frizzle him on the spot. The earth to open and swallow him up, cops at least. Nothing. Nothing but himself standing in front of the candy section of the mini mart feeling like a dope. He couldn't believe he was fooling anybody. Just look like you're checking the stuff out, Weasel had said. Like you're trying to decide what to buy. Right. So here he was, scratching the back of his head and putting this stupid, now what do I want to buy look on his face. Meanwhile, stuffing a candy bar into his pocket. And nothing happened. The world took no notice. So he grabbed a handful of Milky Ways and stuffed them. And some Butterfingers and Almond Joys. Bring your coat with the biggest pockets, Weasel had said. It was good advice. A handful of Snickers, Baby Ruths, 2 aisles over, he could see Weasel's red ski cap bobbing behind the pastries. M&M's Tootsie Rolls. Now the red cap was moving down the aisle, past the sodas and pretzels, toward the door. Time to go. They met at the cash register. They walked past the man, cool, casual, not looking. Don't look at him. Weasel had been firm about that, though Mungo's mightily wanted to. Outside, the November air splashed cold on their faces, and Mungo's knew he would have been sweating. They walked to the end of the block. The moment they turned the corner, as if on the signal, they ran, raced up to the street, tension bursting into howls of laughter. They did not stop until they reached Mungo's apartment house. They went up 6 flights of stairs, and then one more to their favorite place, the roof. They strutted, they swaggered, they posed. They went to the edge and looked over the town and threw their fist in the air. It's ours, Weasel crowd, all ours, except for the clock tower of the bank on Main Street. The roof of Mongoose place was the highest spot in town. Mongoose, his arms still thrust to the night sky, turned to Weasel and said, What do you mean it's ours? Just what I said. If we can walk in there and walk out with half the stuff, we can do anything. Nothing can stop us. Weasel shouted over the rooftops. We ain't little no more. Mongoose grinned. Yeah. Weasel was right. That was the whole point of this night. The new names, everything. They were not little anymore. They had both had birthdays, their 12th in October. And both had begun to notice the same thing happening. People were smaller, or seemed so anyway. Their teacher, their parents, older kids, grown-ups, suddenly they were not the danger they used to be. And neither were they their weapons, detentions, groundings, scolding, rules, threats. Nothing and no one was as big or as fearsome as before. They had both felt this, but they had felt it separately, for neither had words to express it. And then one day in school, the teacher called on Weasel during geography and asked him a question about Mexico. And Weasel said, I don't know. Now, Weasel was never the greatest student in the world, and he had been saying, I don't know, to teachers for the past 6 years, 7 counting kindergarten. Except he never really said it. He mumbled it, with his face somewhere down around his shoes. Mumbled it, mangled it, so bad it took each new teacher weeks to understand. Substitutes never did. And lo and behold, here was Weasel in November of 6th grade, straight as a drill sergeant, looking at the teacher and saying the same thing he had been saying all his life, only now saying it loud and clear as anything you'd hear on TV, proclaiming it, I don't know. The teacher, Mrs. Pocopson, blinked and even smiled a little, probably so shocked to hear real words came out of his mouth. Normally, when Weasel had said he didn't know, Mrs. Pocopson would ask somebody else. This time, she didn't. This time, she took one step away from the blackboard and said, You don't know? No, said Weasel, almost calling it out. and then repeating, I don't know, stopping after each word. It was as if he had just discovered language, and I never did. Mungus heard snickers. He looked back and forth between teacher and best friend. He had never seen Whistle sit so tall and straight. Mrs. Pockelson's eyebrows practically shot up to her hairline. She blinked some more. Is that so? Yeah, said Whistle. And I probably never will. Shorts of laughter erupt. You're dead, thought Mungus. But Whistle wasn't dead, only suspended. Mrs. Puckleson sent him to the principal's office, and after catching an earful of Whistle's new lip, the principal sent him packing for 2 days. It was like throwing Brer Rabbit on the briar patch. Whistle roamed around town, stirring candy wrappers in his wake, simmering in the juices of a new point of view, becoming Whistle. During morning recess on the second day, he showed up at the playground and was mobbed by students. Many wanted his autograph. On the day that Whistle returned, Mungus was there then when a little kid, a 3rd or 4th grader, came up and shook his fingers scoldingly and said, Oh, Bobby. So far, Whistle had become Whistle only to himself. The rest of the world still knew him as Bobby Morgan. Oh, Bobby, you got in trouble. You better be good. Whistle laughed and swatted the kid's finger away. I don't gotta be nothing. I ain't even here. The little kid planted his feet. He glared at Whistle. You are so here. Whistle wagged his head and grinned. No, I ain't. Not no more. He brushed the kid aside and walked into his classroom, leaving the kid baffled. Mungus wasn't baffled. He understood why Whistle had wised up to the teacher, though he himself did not have the nerve to wise up. He didn't feel like it. Things had changed, as if he and his best pal had moved to a different place. He wasn't exactly sure where they were, but, like Whistle, he knew they were not where they used to be. That night, they had met on the same roof. They had flung words into the darkness and, like fireworks, the words had burst and showered their future with light. They saw the mini mart. They saw spray paint cans. They saw cars. They saw freedom. And since they were new, they gave themselves new names. Bobby Morgan had become Whistle. Jamie Hill had become Mungus. Where are you calling yourself a bird? Said the new Whistle. It's not a bird, said the old Jamie Hill. It's an animal. It's quicker than a cobra. Jamie Hill had always liked to think of himself as quick. Chapter 2. How their